Hi, I'm Brad Knowles, producer of Friday Night Flies, hosted by Scott LeBoldis and Scotty Holmes. Enjoy the show. Oh, well, that was kind of sneaky. Anyhow, today I'm wearing my finest attire. Rapella is in the house tonight. So I've got another tie for you guys this afternoon, or this evening, or maybe after this show. Hey guys, we're live! And the people of the show need quiet in the background. Anyhow, I just about had to get up and lay a smack down there. And so anyhow, that's obviously not customers or clients. It's other staff workers in the back that are celebrating new inventory. So anyhow, today, I can't even remember what we named this, but it's the Lucky Dog. So this being said, we've been tying, this isn't exactly what we were using today, but I didn't really have the pattern that I tied because it was with one of my guides, and it was effective enough that he didn't want to give it back. They got coho on today. They caught chum salmon as well. It's really similar to this, but instead of using the large polar chenille, we're going to Semperfli's micro chenille, and it just kind of doesn't mold into this big blob. Like when this thing's wet, it's just, you might as well be using marabou, but it's UV as all hell. Like from a distance, you can see how UV that thing is.
Oh, that light's like...
Yeah, and I'm holding the light about 3 miles away from it, so you can imagine. And we all know that fish see in UV. So, that being said, we're going to get down to business, and we're going to start tying here quick because, like myself, all our loyal followers have got things to do today, and we're not going to drag this out too much. So, let's get down to business. Let's go down to camera 4, 5, or whatever it is, 4. So, we're starting out with my favorite hook for salmon, the Sprott 3/0. You're going to find it difficult to find that hook. So what we've come up with, something that's very comparable in size and shape, is Mustad's, what is it, the SL 73UB LN in a size 2/0. We've held the two together, and they're really close to each other. So you can use this one. The only real big difference between this hook and the other that I use is that you can see this one has a downturn eye, this one has an upturn eye, but when you throw a quarter bead on there, a large or an XL bead, it really doesn't matter what you're putting in front of it, an up or a down eye. So let's get down to business. Lock that sucker in our vise. What we've got today is a Super Thread 350 denier in red. I don't know if you can see that or not. Superfly makes great stuff. When you put this stuff on a hook, it actually looks a lot like wire. So we're just going to work it up because the underbody is actually the thread. So you want to make sure that you're covering that hook completely as you're going, and you'll find it's a little bit easier. You see I'm holding this tail a little bit out at like a 90, and then you just kind of work along and it just piles it all up nice and pretty along the shank. And it is Friday, so we're really busy here at the shop. You're probably going to hear some customers hooting and hollering in the back because of all the deals and money they've saved today. So just bear with us. We are open for business at Spud Valley Sporting Goods at 1380 Birch Street in sunny, right now, sunny. The sun is out, ladies and gentlemen, in Pemberton. The rain has stopped and the clouds have separated. So we're going down a little bit on the shank a little bit, just for a simple reason that it's going to give us a little bit of a green butt. At that point, we're going to take this Semperfli stuff, this real fancy stuff by Semperfli. That's their bonus pack here of all their different micro chenilles. I'm going to take a chunk of that micro chenille out. I'm going to tie it into the back end here. Like I said, we're open for business here at Spud. So you're going to hear a little bit of stuff in the background. I'm going to tie this into the butt end. And we're not going to go all the way back, just to the bend to the shank. And we're going to take your thread right back up to the head. And this is a guide's fly. A guide fly meaning that it doesn't take a whole lot of time to tie. But they're very effective. We're going to take this Griffin, I got a bobbin holder here at the back end. I'm going to swing it all the way around because the camera's in the front. I usually would go around the front side and put it over the bobbin cradle. And then we're going to take the rotary function of this beautiful vise, and I'm going to make a nice little butt at the end, and then I'm going to somewhat evenly space it going forward to the head. You can see that's making a really nice, cool looking body. Nothing too crazy here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to button it up here at the head. Now I'm going to go back to my cradle, take my thread back, swing everything in behind. Usually I'd go around the other side. And I'm just going to lock this sucker down in behind the bead here. Nice and easy. And we're going to cut that little tag end off. Just going to lock this stuff down. Now comes the easy part. I've got this, comes in a beautiful bag. Select bucktail from our good friends over at Superfly. Can you read that, cameraman? Yeah. Flashy stuff. They don't dye. They don't just dye the fur. They grow the animals this color. It's amazing how they do it. I don't know how they do it, but this is what you think it would be dyed, but they're actually green deer. Take a nice little chunk of that bucktail, the green bucktail. It's a rare species only found in northern Alberta. So take a good chunk of that sucker. You go in, find a few of the scraggly tips, you pull them suckers out of there, and then you go back about there and you see all these loose, scraggly little fat heads. Pull them out, because all that it's going to do is just add to your head of your fly, and you don't want this big, crazy head fly. And then we're going to take this guy, cut it off to length. You just want to go a bit longer than the shank of the hook. And we're going to take this, we're going to tuck it right up tight to the head of the fly here under the bead, just a little bit longer than. You see how I'm overlapping it over that bead. The reason for this is simple, because when I start locking this sucker down, I'm going to pull it in underneath that bead, just like so. And I'm going to fill that hole in behind the bead, build a little bit of a head, make sure it's all nice and tight, make sure it's all up on top. It's kind of like a Mickey Finn in a sense, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
But using modern technology and fly tying stuff. So we're going to make sure that everything's in there tight. There's one weird little piece there, but that's okay. I'm going to take now whip finisher, and you can see how quick this fly is. It's nice and quick, but I assure you it's very effective. Even in this high water. One of our guides today, we had a tour, couldn't believe it. The guys showed up at the river and sent me a couple pictures, and they still got into fish today, which is unbelievable, being that it's river was kind of up in the trees. So you know, being that we fish the river every day, we kind of know where you can get in and out of the high pressure areas. And there's still a little bit of water here, a little bit of water there. Now we're going to take this product called Solar Res, and we're going to give it a dab on the head, because the fish that we're fishing for are big and they're toothy, and this is going to prolong the life of this fly. So just a little dab will do, and you just work that around the head of the fly, and it's going to actually make it look real sexy. Sexy time. So when a guide says this is a guide fly, that's usually a good time to go up to the local sports shop, one being Spud Valley Sporting Goods in beautiful Pemberton, British Columbia. Or there's Pacific Angler. You can go down and say hi to our good friend there, Zach Copeland. He's now one of their head guys there. You can see that. So you just give it a nice little slow roll. Make sure that the head is nice and uniform. You can see it looks really good there. So now I'm going to hit it with our UV light. And at that point, this guy's curing. We'll give it a nice little slow roll. It's unbelievable how a UV light just makes that thing pop. Anyhow, so that right there, tack free, and that thread now is almost as durable as that bead on the end. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very effective coho fly. Try it in your local waters. Come by and see us here at Spud Valley. Let's go up top. I'll give it one more slow roll, okay? We're giving it one last sexy roll. You can see that thread in the back end there actually looks a lot like wire, but it's not. So anyhow, we'll go back up top. It's really busy in here right now. Are we up top? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoy the show today. I've got one other pattern that we've been using for chum. It's very similar to what we're using here in materials, except that we didn't go with the polar chenille. We went with a crystal chenille. Chum like a little bit meatier body. I know a lot of people use marabous and stuff like that. Marabou, it's nice, but whenever you're chucking a nice minnow pattern or a streamer, they seem to last a little longer and they don't really get tangled up in the tail.
Yeah.
And when you're a guide, nothing worse than having to check the client's fly every third cast to make sure that the marabou isn't wrapped all around the tail. Pretty well guarantee that this fly is going to look exactly the same each and every cast. And that's key in presentation and making my job easier, and in the end making our clients look really good amongst all the other fishermen in the area. So join us on a fly fishing tour, PembertonFishFinder.com. If you don't know how to spell Pemberton Fish Finder, flyfishing.tours. Pretty straightforward stuff. Anyhow, my name is Brad. I'm in the house with the boys at Spud Valley Sporting Goods today. Swing by. I'll be here till 6. Stop by, say hi. We'll get a little recipe going together for you guys. Make sure you're catching fish. We might even share some top secret locations for fishing. Either way, we're signing out with that. Listen, we got a little quick message from our sponsors. Pay attention. They make our show happen. So watch to the end.
Friday Night Flies would like to thank the following sponsors: Superfly, Solarez, Chinook Wind Outfitters, Dr. Slick, Griffin, Stonefoe,